All right. So first things first, can you give your name, tag, pronouns, anything you'd like to shout out, and then how long you've been playing Melee?
I wasn't prepared to shout out anything. All right.
If you don't have a sponsor or anything, you don't have to.
I don't. Used to, but oh well. So my name's Dave. My tag is Slowking, and pronouns are he, him, and things to shout out. I guess I don't know. Just Iowa Smash. I guess is pretty cool.
Me, baby. That's me.
And then I can't remember the last thing you told me. How long have I been playing? I've been playing since 2015, so almost 6 years now, which is nuts to think about.
Yeah, it is. So next question, what got you hooked on Melee? It doesn't have to be like your origin story, but just the thing where you were like, this is what I want to keep doing for 6 years now.
Well, I didn't know I was gonna be playing 6 years later, otherwise I would have picked a different tag. But I guess I kind of have to do like a quote origin story, like you said. So basically, like me and my friends were playing Smash 4 when it came out, and then like this game store in Sioux City where I started playing is they started doing Melee stuff, and we were like, well, it's Smash, let's go to that. And then like just meeting everybody that was like kind of getting into Melee, and there's a couple people that were like actually into like Melee and Smash at that point, and like I don't know, it was just super cool and different from Smash 4 that I didn't really know about yet. So I was just like, this is funner than Smash 4 anyway, so let's just keep playing this.
Yeah.
And I don't know, everyone was pretty homey, which it was just me. I went with myself and two friends, and we weren't really expecting much out of it, I guess, but there's like 30 people there. Everyone's just stoked on Smash and stuff. So it was like, this is dope. Let's keep doing this,
Yeah, that's cool. No, I think it's a big jump to go from Smash 4, which is, objectively the fastest game, to Melee, which is objectively the slowest game in the Smash series. You get it.
Exactly.
So you mentioned your tag, and it's funny you say that because my next question is, what made you choose the tag Slowking? And if it's just your like favorite Pokemon or what?
Man, now this is the real origin story.
Oh my god.
So okay, so basically how it worked out is when I made like an online username, my tag was, or my username was Slowking's Pants, which is a reference to Pokemon 2000. And when I started playing Melee, the first tournament at the game store, we just used our names. But then I went to like our first like locally hosted tournament, and he was like, "What's your tag?" And I was like, "Well, Slowking's Pants is way too long for a full Smash tag." So I was like, "Just put Slowking," and then I would have picked something else, maybe a different Pokemon or something, if I knew I was going to keep playing. But it was like the first thing, like, this is like a shortened version of my username, so just put it. We'll deal with it later, and I just never changed it.
Oh, it's cool. It's funny. I don't know. I wish I could show it, but I put a slow poke sticker on my CRT.
Oh,
and
nice.
Then I was gonna show it to you if I ever brought the CRT to a LAN, but then I realized like it's gigantic.
Is it one of the huge ones?
Yeah, it's like that one over there. I can't really point to it from this angle, but it's like super hefty, and so I can't even like put it in my car, let alone like take it to a tournament.
Oh yeah,
so
that's
it's not
fair.
worth it. So.
Oh, speaking of that, dude, I'm obligated to like Slowpoke and Slowking stuff now because it's my tag.
Yeah. Next time I see you, I'll give you like a plushie of like Slowking, and you'll just be like, "Why did you?"
Oh yeah, I already have one, which I was obligated to buy.
Hell yeah, that's sick. So next question. This is getting a little bit deep.
Okay.
What is your skill level in Melee in your own words? So you can be as self-deprecating as you want. You can be like, "I'm the greatest." Say whatever you want.
Man, well, I'm not the greatest because that's impossible, borderline impossible.
Yeah.
But so I kind of stopped like consistently entering tournaments in like October or so. But had I kept entering stuff and doing as well as I was doing, and I would have been top 100 this year had they done a ranking.
Oh, sure.
If that answers specifically where I lie, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think I like if tournaments come back this year and maybe like the last half of the year and they do some sort of ranking and I go to as much as I would like to, I could probably make the ranking anyways, but we'll see if that happens or not.
Yeah, I mean, we're all gunning for you. We're all rooting for you. I mean, I'm
Aw.
because I hate you, but
Yeah, that's
whatever.
fair.
So in my mind, you've always played at a sort of like fringe top 100 level. But is there anything that's kept you from playing at an even higher level, like hand pain, financial issues, like just general life struggles, what have you?
I've never had hand pains whatsoever. I mean, I've
Let's go.
had, yeah, right. But I think it's not like a burden by any means, because especially like things are getting better, or they were before tournaments ended. But like being in Iowa, there's not any like top 100 player to like be beating or anything. I have to travel to like show me your moves in Illinois, or I mean, that's honestly like the closest thing, or just Chicago tournaments in general, because Chicago tournaments usually bring out like people from Indiana that are top 100 or Michigan and whatnot. So I have the chances to fight people like that. But like, because I don't get to fight against the players that are that level and get those wins, that's probably what's holding me back the most.
Yeah.
But like, I think my skill has pretty much always been growing, even if like my record doesn't show it because I don't get to play these players of that level. But like when I went to Genesis, I went to Genesis last year, and like I think I got 65th or 97th, whatever that placing is. And
say,
like
I can tell you right now, you got 65th.
Yo, let's go.
Scrubbing through your placings last night. I was like, I have to.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, cool. Well, yeah, I like when game 3 last hit with Nut, who's like top 70 or something like that, and like
he's super good.
And like throughout all the tournaments I'd gone to, like I went in game 5 with West Balls last year before COVID, game 5 with Rick, beat Bobby Frizz a couple of times, but he wasn't top 100 anymore at that point.
Yeah.
But like I was so close to getting a lot of wins. I just like never closed it out. And then like at the beginning of last year, Genesis, I was like that much closer, and then tournaments ended. So
I get that.
Yeah.
So I guess sort of in the same vein, do you value like big wins and big upsets more than like just consistent placing in terms of your ranking?
So obviously both are important. Like it's always the debate of, do you value peaks versus consistency when it comes to like an actual top 100 ranking and whatnot. But I think getting like a big win is really important because it like makes people put an eye on you.
Yeah. And
then in turn, like you get better seeding at tournaments, which in theory means you can place better, easier, or more easily.
Yep.
And like you get to fight people that are more like that. You don't have to make like a big upset to get to fight the best players every bracket, whereas like you kind of do if you're like getting seeded where I usually do it, like regionals and stuff.
Yeah.
I wish I had like a good example for you. Like at the tournament I played West Falls at, like in theory I shouldn't have taken the game 5, but I did. But normally like you get seeded into a player of that caliber, lose, get destroyed or whatever, and then you have to go into losers and fight like 3 or 4 good regional players before you get to fight like the next top 100 player.
Right.
And so like but if you're seeded differently, you can fight like you can be like that higher regional ranked player, and then you have like an easier track to making it to the top 100 players or whatever. So to answer your question in like a short answer, like a peak win is really important for the long standing of things, but the consistency is where you'll get like your ranking solidified, in my opinion.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, completely makes sense.
Yeah.
So right now, I guess in the era of COVID, what does your practice schedule look like? And you can be as honest as you want to be.
Honestly, right now, like I should be playing more than I do. I haven't been entering a ton of tournaments recently. I try to play like at least an hour of melee like every day before work. But honestly, I probably only do like maybe 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah.
As far as like solo practicing goes, I'll just pretty much do like 15-20 minutes of just like warm up stuff before I jump into unranked, or if I try to find someone to play with. But like that's all the solo practice I do, honestly. Other than like if I notice my ledge dashes suck in it for a couple days or something, then I'll grind those out. But other than that, I just do like some warm up stuff and call it solo practice.
Yeah. Yeah. I always talk about this in like Twitch chats or with other people that I talk to, is that like solo practice in this game is just like so impossible. And then like even the higher level that you're at, you're still just like, I'd rather be playing friendlies, or like I'd rather just like mess around in unranked than like actually sit there and like grind out ledge dashes or something like that.
Right.
And I think that's one of the big reasons that people say they like want to be good, but they don't end up being good. That's just like the thing that people talk about a lot.
Yeah, it's I don't know, just playing against people is so much fun, and so much more fun than as fun as like just moving around the stages in general. It's just nothing beats playing another person.
Yeah, you would trade every solo practice session to go dumpster on me for an hour and a half. Yeah, we know.
Oh my gosh.
So you kind of answered this in like a couple questions ago, but you and I both from Iowa, both known each other for a while, for better or for worse. But do you ever feel like you're sort of limited in terms of competition because of your region, either in Iowa or in the whole of the Midwest in general?
The only aspect I think that applies to is kind of what I talked about earlier, where like there isn't that person that I can beat in my state specifically that makes people like hear about you, besides like your Twitter or something, you know. And in that aspect, I mean, yes, technically there is like some sort of barrier living in a random state that doesn't have like a god player in it. But I think because the competition at like the top level of the state, so like me and Russell and like Pleba when he was here, Bevan, all them, like it's
Bevan.
having
right.
But like having the people that are there that are pushing like your skill level is honestly just as good as practice as like going to these other tournaments, because as long as you apply yourself, like whenever I'd play with Russell, like we'd go back and forth pretty consistently. So I have to keep improving to get ahead of him, and in turn that'll help me bring my skill level to get these wins at the bigger tournaments that I can attend. But say like Russell moved away and then like what was that face for?
Funny story about that.
Oh god. But say like he leaves and like Chase doesn't come back to tournaments when tournaments come back, and it's just like me destroying everybody at the locals because Landon doesn't come to stuff or something like that, then that would be a pretty bad barrier, and then it would be hard to apply myself to get better and bring myself to top play when I go to these other tournaments. But since I have like these other people that are pushing my skill level, like there's not really a hindrance besides like attention to yourself, I guess.
I get that. Yeah, we can talk about what I was gonna say after the recording, because because I think if I talk about Russell for 5 more minutes in this interview as well as the last one, he'll kill me.
Oh my god, I haven't watched the last one because I was gonna watch it at work and then I just like haven't yet.
Yeah,
but I believe that you mentioned him a couple times.
Neither here nor there, you know. It's nope, never. Okay. So next one. This is sort of similar to what you just answered. So you've been number 1 here for quite a while now. I don't know how long Jazz was number 1, but I feel like you've been number 1 for like longer than he has. So I guess like, what's that like? Do you feel like you're that much better than everyone? Do you feel like you sort of like hit a plateau in terms of skill level here? Just talk about that.
I wish I knew what the PRs looked like for the past 2 years off the top of my head to tell you exactly how I felt.
Can pull them up right now. I mean,
okay, go for it. Imagine not having these up already and having that question on the list.
Of course. Yeah. So Do you want me to share screen? Do you want me to just read them to you? How do you
So
want
I know I was number 1 as long as Kendrick has not been on the PR, and because he went inactive shortly after I moved here.
Yeah. Big up to Kendrick. We're just having a bonding session over these players who
Right.
dropped off the face of the earth. Yeah. So it's been since fall 2018, you've been number 1. So that was the ever since Double Shine and Pleba moved. So,
I think I was ranked above Pleba on the first one because I think it was me, Pleba, Bevan, or something like that.
The one that I'm looking at is summer 2018, and it's Pleba, Bevan, you.
Oh, okay. So that might have been the first one after I moved here.
Yeah, but then
Okay.
everyone after that, like I said, is you at the top.
Okay. What's it called though? I can't. What was the question we started talking about this on?
Just like what's it like to have been number 1 for as long as you have been now, and how do you deal with that? Do you feel like you're that much better than all of us scrubs here below you, or what?
Okay. So I think being number 1 is cool, but so this hasn't really happened to me, I guess, because I have to go to everything because I host everything.
Yep. That's actually
so it's a little
different.
It's a little different for me, but like when Kendrick was number 1, I always felt like he got no one was pushing him anymore, so he got kind of bored.
Yeah.
And that's why he stopped. Or that's one of the reasons he stopped, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But like I get enjoyment out of obviously winning is cool, but also I get really my sentence structure wasn't going to make sense. I really enjoy hanging out with like the lower level players or the newer players and watching them improve and all this stuff. So I don't know. I get a different enjoyment out of some aspects of like Smash in general that keeps me like grinding, I guess. Because I just love playing, but also love the community side of things. So I wouldn't ever say like compared to Kendrick, like I don't think I'll ever quote get bored and stop playing because there's not enjoyment in it for me. So like there's that aspect of it. And then as far as like skill goes, like I think I wouldn't say I'm gonna like destroy everybody that's below me every single time.
Right.
Like even when I was solidly number 1, like Chase would take sets off me here and there. I'm not sure if Landon did in state, but when we went to
once,
dude, he went when we went to Invincible, he beat me.
Yep.
And so like the people that are like top 5 and maybe top 6, depending on who's active, could like still beat me. And like Russell, I would never consider Russell beating me like an upset.
Right.
So like I wouldn't say like I've plateaued because there's still people pushing me. And I guess I look at like the long haul, because like I always want to improve, knowing that I'm going to be going to another big tournament at some point. So I want to be ready for those things too.
Right.
Because I love traveling too. So that's another big aspect that I find enjoyment in.
For sure.
And like with the whole Midwest region growing like as a whole, like I said earlier, I can go to Illinois and fight all the people that come from other states and stuff, but I can also just go to like a Minnesota monthly and fight Ben and Preeminent, 100 grand if he shows up. And like there's good players in almost every state in the area. So like there's competition everywhere, and I don't mind driving to stuff. So I'm down to play all these other players, regardless of if I'm projected to beat them or not. Like if I go to Nebraska or South Dakota, if Eifter's active, that's another story. But like I'd be projected to win solidly in like Nebraska and South Dakota, but like I'm still gonna go and hang out and see everybody that I have known for years now. And there's still a chance I lose to like Underscores or David Q or Koala in South Dakota could probably beat me. Like I don't know, there's always a chance. So like I don't think I'm that high above or everybody else skill wise, even in the neighboring states. So there's always competition. I always find enjoyment in it.
That's good. It's a good attitude to have. Yeah, everybody you named there, I was like thinking about them. I'm like, oh, that person's a good player. Oh, that's a homie. Oh, that's like the sickest guy I've ever met. It's funny. Uh, and then I was thinking about Kendrick, who is, the myth of Iowa Smash, I guess you could say.
To clarify, I'm talking about Double Shine Kendrick, not
Yes.
Kendrick from Platteville.
Yes. Yeah.
Because he would comment and be like, yo, they talked about me so much.
No, he absolutely would. Yeah. Yeah, I remember one of the first tournaments I ever went to. I had been playing for about 3 months, and I couldn't even move. I didn't even know how to dash, let alone wave dash or anything. And I sat down next to Kendrick Double Shine, and we played friendlies for a little while. And he's just dumpstering me, of course. Like I got 3 stock, 4 stock, like bam, bam, bam. And I turned to him and I asked, and I'm like, "You're really good. How long have you been playing for?" And he's like, "About 9 months." And I was like, "Oh my god." I'm never gonna get there.
Dang, how long ago was that then?
That was like my first tournament. That was like We Live in 3 or 4 or something. So it was when they still had We Live Ins in like the church,
Oh, okay. I think
place I'm talking about.
No, dude, I didn't live here at that point.
Oh, you didn't.
So the first We Live In I went to, I think, was We Live In 5, and it was at the mall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the first one we had at the mall.
Okay, and that was like the 100-person tournament or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I drove like 5 hours from Sioux City for that one with some dudes from South Dakota and stuff.
Reliving the glory days,
Yeah, but it was fun though. So I played Bevan at that tournament, and that was like his first tournament ever or something.
Oh yeah. That was a lot of our first tournaments, I think. All those post-doc kids,
Right.
Anyway, we gotta stop reliving back when we were as old as we are now. You and me, 2 geezers over here. You a little bit more than me, maybe, but oh well.
Still better than
you. You mentioned sort of like loving to TO and like the community aspect, but does it ever get overbearing to TO, compete, practice, and like stay working full time?
Sometimes yes, and like for the weeklies and stuff, not at all, because everybody that goes to the weeklies knows what they're doing for the most part, and if there's somebody new, anybody can lead them through it. So the weeklies pretty much run themselves. So I can enter melee and ultimate no problem and do fine. It's whatever.
Right.
Yeah. For monthlies is a totally different story because there's so much going on. Like the last couple Star KOs that I hosted, like ultimate pretty much ran itself. Like LT and Alec and Trey John all jumped in and basically TO'd everything.
Yeah, shout out to those
guys. Besides like registration, like I will always do that because I want to be the one handling the money.
Right.
But they pretty much ran it, especially because they were in their own separate room. It turned into like their own tournament, which was really dope. When that's the case, I can run melee while also being able to consistently play, which is usually the hardest part, is finding time to stay warm for your bracket when you're running a monthly that size.
Yeah.
And that's when like the frustration comes in because I can't play how I want to because I'm not warmed up because I can't find time to play between matches and stuff like that. And that's when I'm always like, man, I need to stop entering these. I need to just TO them because I just can't play. Like I've probably had like, I know I lost to Soth for the first time at a Star KO.
Yep.
And like a bunch of other people have either almost beaten me or beaten me that I would lose to at any other tournament just because like it's so hard to do everything at once.
Yeah.
So like that in that aspect, it is frustrating and hard to just deal with, I guess. But like in the future, I pretty much had like after the Star KO, the last one we hosted, I had pretty much planned on like the ultimate guys running their stuff and me focusing on melee stuff. And there isn't much like of a problem with, or in my opinion, doing that. It's not too difficult. And there's always people that can step in and do some melee stuff on the side too. Like I know Landon's always down to help me out, and like Keith, when he shows up, is basically a TO himself. So yeah. Luckily there's that extra like support in the scene that I can pass stuff off to other people to do. But like if there wasn't, like I would never enter a SCO again.
Yeah.
If I had to do everything myself every time with no help.
Right. Yeah, that would suck. Yeah, I love the sort of just like asking other people, like, can you go grab food for me? Like I have to run brackets. And then like knowing that somebody will go get food for you instead of just being like, no, I want to play or something like that. That's always good.
Well, I
'Cause-
try to always ask people as they're leaving to go get food. I don't try to inconvenience people, but
yeah, yeah,
but
no, I
yeah.
getcha. Yeah, I mean, if you like canes, you can always ask us because every time I go to a tournament, I eat canes about 48 times a day. So
Really, I've never had canes.
oh my,
I knew you were gonna be upset. Dude, every time there's always people that go to canes during the Starkados and bring it back, and I'm just like, nope, never had it.
that's ridiculous. We have 5 more questions to get through, and I'm gonna be thinking about how you haven't had canes the entire time.
Sorry, man.
Ridiculous. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not even offended or anything. It's fine. So next, did anyone inspire you to pick Falco or inspired your play style or anything like that? Or are you kind of just like a lone wolf cavalier leading the forefront of your character?
Okay, so this is another story.
Oh my gosh.
So I started off playing Falcon when I was just like, I want to play melee. Who do I pick? Okay, Falcon.
Yeah.
And then eventually I started playing Fox because everybody in Sioux City played Falco, and I was like, bad Falcon players. Like, Falco's broken. I can't deal with lasers. I can't deal with shield pressure. It's Fox time. So then I played both of them, and then eventually I was like, Falcon sucks. He just gets edge guarded, and it's dumb. Fox time. And I was only Fox for like a year and a half or so, and we went to this tournament in St. Louis, or technically not St. Louis, but it's called UGC Open, Smash Open or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And every mid-level player that was like in the amateur bracket and whoever had played in friendlies was just everybody played Fox, and I was just like, Fox Doodles are stupid. I don't want to play this anymore. It's Falco time. Well, I was like Falco and Marth, because I want to like have some sort of varying in my play style and stuff. So I was like, let's try 2 different characters. I'll figure out who I like more and stuff like that. Eventually, I was just like, it's Falco time. And then so eventually I settled on Falco, not because of anybody in particular. As just who I found the most enjoyment at the time, and it kind of enabled me to do more so in melee than I wanted to. Specifically, like I just had so much more fun comboing with Falco because like every Falco combo is 30 DI mix-ups in a row.
Oh yeah.
Whereas like Fox is kind of like you get your opening with a grab or a shine knockdown or something, and it's like you have like your optimal flow chart you should probably do almost every time.
Right.
And I'm just like, this is like cool and all, but it's not really what I'm looking for. So that's kind of how I settled on Falco. Yeah. And then yeah, here I am still playing Falco, so and getting better results than ever. So
yeah. Looks like you made the right choice then, I suppose.
Sorry, my cat's getting in my cords.
No, it's a totally valid excuse, you know. Do whatever you need to. Cats are always good.
Yeah. Right.
So I guess going back to the glory days, what's your favorite tournament experience not having to do with the results? So maybe you do want to talk about a tournament you've won or something, and that's like all cool, but just like a really good time where you saw the homies, or like just like you got to play people you don't usually get to play, you know, what's like your favorite that sticks out to you?
If I had to pick one specific tournament, I don't know. Smash and Splash is always sick because everybody from Iowa goes out to it. So there's like everyone's homie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But flying to anything is really cool too. Yeah. Like a trip to Dome Park on the grass was dope. Which I went with Bevan, and then a couple of dudes from Nebraska and Walker went with us too. I think Landon did too, actually. I guess the only Nebraskan that went with us was Shifty, actually. But Dome Park was such a sick tournament too. We also flew to Genesis, the last Genesis, and like that was a super dope trip too. I'm actually surprised how much enjoyment I found out of like flying to stuff, because you're kind of limited to like you can't drive around anymore because you just got to take Uber stuff because you don't have your car, and like flying is expensive. But like I don't know, it's just super cool to be so far away from home, I guess, and just be there for a hobby you love.
Yeah.
But like I said, in the long run, if I had to pick one tournament, I think probably like Show Me Your Move / House of Pain is my like favorite tournament series I've ever been to. And if I had to like say you have to go to this Midwest tournament, it'd probably be those.
Yeah.
Like the venue's sick. This like location is amazing. There's so much like to look at, and like food options and stuff in the area, and like their little downtown area they have is just beautiful. And there's this really dope ramen shop we always go to after the tournaments. That's cool too.
Yeah, that was the one that everybody kept telling me to go to as soon as like I was able to like afford to go, or like that I was able to like drive there. And then, you know, now that's not an option anymore, but it's
right.
It's fine. It's fine.
I guess also this didn't come to my mind at first, but Full Bloom is also another really sick tournament series I'd recommend everyone go to.
Yeah,
it's a similar thing. It's on college campus. Their space is dope. The like location is just amazing, and the college is really cool. So I don't know, but yeah, those Show Me Your Moves #1, and then Full Bloom #2 is probably my favorite tournament series I go to.
True Midwestern grit right there.
Right.
Yeah, I get you.
And then like nationals like Big House and Smash and Splash have their own like enjoyment out of it, just because the competition is so intense and there's so much to watch and look at and stuff. But I don't know. I kind of like the slightly more like I guess like maybe 300-person tournaments versus like the 2,500-person tournaments. It's just a different enjoyment you get out of it.
Yeah, totally understand that. I mean, I can't really say much. You know, I've been to hundreds and hundreds of nationals in my career, so you know, so I can't really speak to that. But yeah, I totally
they all blend together.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. So a little bit more of a sad question. What's your attitude towards competing in the era of Slippi? You know, do you say like online results don't matter that much? Is it like worthwhile to practice at all? If you know that like tournaments aren't going to happen until like later this year, or God forbid, even longer than that. You know, just like what's your attitude towards that?
I think online results matter, but not to the same degree.
Right.
Even though like my best results ever have been online, which I'm super stoked for and whatnot. But it really depends. Like for example, Axe was like doing pretty bad in tournaments for a while because he just couldn't find the same enjoyment out of it like he could in person, which is totally understandable. It's a totally different vibe sitting in your own room than being by a crowd or being at the Summit House or whatever they do, you know?
Yeah.
And like, for example, like one of my best wins that I got on rollback Slippi was I beat Dreffin at one of the first big rollback tournaments. I can't remember what it was called. But like, I think it was like one of his first net play tournaments he had entered. So it's like, I've been adjusted to it because I was grinding and whatnot. So like, and I just kind of like, it wasn't even especially close. And I don't know, I just felt like he wasn't playing the way he would have been playing IRL, or like wasn't playing as good. So like, I don't know, the win itself is like, hey, I have a win on Dreffin now, but like, it doesn't feel the same as if I beat him in person.
Totally get that.
Like, I think they should have done a ranking for like net play. Obviously be way harder because there's so many more tournaments that everybody's entering.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wish they would have done a ranking because I think it is still important. For like I don't know if you watch Alston Melee videos, but they did like a top 10 like players you haven't heard of before until rollback and stuff, and like having recognition like that is so cool. And like it really gives the acknowledgement to like the people that have been grinding and improving like that they deserve. But I don't know. Like I said, and overall I think it's dope and I love it, and like I definitely think it's worth playing right now. Even if you're brand new, it's so easy to get into and whatnot. But like when tournaments come back, it'll just be a totally different feeling.
Yeah.
But everything will transfer over in the long run. Like if you're getting better now on Slippi, it's not going to be like, oh, you go to IRL tournament and you suck again.
Yeah.
Like it's still Melee in the long run. It's just a different like IRL feeling to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I did watch that video. I watched that exact Alston Melee video, and I remember I was thinking about it because Ben was third on there, and people were like, I don't even know who this is, but like for people in the Midwest, nobody was like that surprised by it, or like that makes 100% sense, you know. Like, that makes total sense. Everybody on that list kind of deserved what they got.
Right.
Yeah. Shouts to Alston Melee. Make some good videos, I'd say. So you mentioned like Slippi being a good option for people just starting out, but what other like practice tips do you have for people who are just starting out with Melee, or just people who like want to get better in general?
I guess there's kind of like two different answers to that, because if tournaments were a thing right now, it always makes me sad when someone's like brand new and like you can tell they like at least have a basic understanding of Melee, And it's not like some casual, because it's real hard to get a casual into the competitive side.
Right.
But like someone that's just starting out, they come to the tournament, they play friendlies before the tournament or whatever, they lose and then they leave. Like that always sucks to see, because my biggest advice is just like stay, watch. You'll learn a lot just by watching, and then just like playing with people and talking to people afterwards is really important. And also like I was saying about myself earlier, like the community aspect of it is super important too. Like if you have homies at the tournaments because you stick around and hang out with people, like it's what brings you back, you know. Like people could spend $5 a week at the Jays weeklies, or fucking I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but the joystick tournaments, and just like lose and leave and then like never come back or whatever. But you could be spending like $5 to come play Melee in a tournament and then hang out with your homies for like 3 or 4 hours in the long run, and then that's what brings you back to spend more. Or it feels bad to, like, brings you back to spend $5 next week too, you know. But like I don't know, it's what keeps you involved in like wanting to come back, as opposed to just like coming and losing. But you get to come and then you hang out with your homies and like improve every week. And I don't know, so I think the community, or get involved in the community and hang out with or meet people, is like probably one of my biggest advices, which is obviously hard to do right now.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why like my second answer comes in. It's like, I mean, I don't have the experience of being a new person on rollback era, I guess, but like almost every state has like its locals. So I'd say like get involved with your state's locals, because most net play tournaments are free right now. So that way you can have like an idea of people. So if you expect to keep playing when tournaments come back, like you'll be familiar with names, people will recognize your tag and from brackets and stuff, and you already have like quote homies when stuff comes back. Right. Otherwise, like the Melee Online Discord is a great place to like find people that are literally just starting out as well as you, so you can find people to play with. And it's not like jumping into unranked where you'll lose once or you beat somebody once and they leave. Like this way you get into like a direct connection with somebody that's probably looking to learn just like you are, and you can have like an actual friendly session with somebody. And I know it's just playing games with people, but you'll probably end up with a homie at the end of it as well. So
yeah, totally get that. Yeah, that was one of the biggest things for me when I was like first starting out, because like me, like other new players, you just kind of have to get dumpstered for like a really long time, and so you finally start to like learn or even like understand how to practice, because so many people like start out and then they get dumpstered on and then they're like, I'm not getting any better. But it's also because like they don't know how to practice, or they're like not talking to other people about like how to actually get better. And that's one of the reasons, like for me, if people ask me how long I've played, I'm like, well, I've been playing since like 2015, like around the same time as you, but I've only been like playing for like a year and a half or so, because that was the only time where I like knew the resources that I had in order to get better, and like knew how to solo practice and like understood how to study and like figure out matchups and stuff like that. And so I feel like that's another big thing for like people that are just starting out and like want to get better as well.
Yeah, it's hard to like the first steps are hard, but once you get like in a groove of like knowing what you're supposed to be doing and like learning your practice and stuff, like dude, you're gonna soar after that.
Yeah, that's for sure. And so finally, what are your long-term career goals with Melee?
Well, right now in this very moment, I'm like not grinding as much as I wish I was. I'm just like hoping tournaments come back as soon as possible, because like I already know I'm gonna be going hard on Melee when tournaments come back, but like
for sure.
I'm just like even going to more stuff than I was before COVID. But like long terms, I want to say like, oh, I want to make top 100, but like skill wise, I'm already there. In my opinion. So like I just want to, I don't know, like it's very hard for me to give up on something, especially that's something that I put this much time into, and something that is still always enjoyable and always fun. So like it's hard to say, because like I'll get like, say I get do well when tournaments come back or do well throughout this year, and then I get ranked like 90th or 80th or something. It's like, that's dope. I finally got like some sort of public recognition and stuff like that for my skill and results. But it's like, but now I can do even better. So like,
yeah, you just want to keep going up.
yeah, I mean, that's what I say right now at the point of not being ranked. But we'll see, I guess. I know some people have like a set in stone, like this is what I want out of Melee. Like the first one that comes to mind is like Infinite Numbers, the Ice Climbers player. Like when he went to Summit, he like grinded and made it into Summit. And after that, he's like, I got what I wanted out of the game. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I can never see myself doing something like that. So it's hard to say what I want to get out of it besides just like improvement and recognition, I guess. And I had something in my mind that made sense to me as I was saying that last sentence.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also like another reason why it's so hard to stop is because like the personal satisfaction of like beating people and like getting new wins on people that are like upsets and whatnot is like such a good feeling. And like, I don't know, it's just, there's so much to get out of Melee and so many different aspects to find an enjoyment out of and get the satisfaction you wish to. So like, it's so hard for me to put a personal goal on myself that will be like an end goal. So I don't know. I hate that question because of that.
Yeah, no, it's a totally fair answer. It's almost like an unfair question to ask because you're like, I don't know I'm going to be playing. Maybe I'll be playing until next year. Maybe I'll be playing until I'm 40. But
right.
We're glad to have you in the Iowa scene, of course. Yeah, of course, all love over here. So that was the last question. If there's anything you want to say, you can go right ahead. And anyone you want to shout out, you want to give a shout out to me because I'm really cool or anything like that. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
I don't know. This was fun. I like talking about like Melee besides just like the actual game itself, you know. It's fun to talk about things as a whole, as like a hobby and competitive side of my life, I guess.
The big picture.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said at the beginning, I guess shout outs to all the Iowa homies. They're dope.
Yeah.
Support your local scenes. Donate to Fizzy.
Donate to Fizzy. Yeah. Shout outs to Fizzy.
All right.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, thanks for doing this. This was fun.
Yeah, no problem.